if I compare myself to you, two things I'm doing. Number one, I'm neglecting my gift.
Mm.
If I compare myself to you, I'm looking to see what's in you while avoiding the thing that's in me. I'm responsible for my gift and to give it. But if I'm comparing myself to people, I am declaring that what I have is not enough. What God's made me is not enough. So I need to. But the other thing that when when I compare myself to people, I'm not loving them.
Mm.
I'm neglecting the love that I should be giving to a person because every person needs us to love them.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Faith Ignite podcast, and I'm so excited you decided to bless us with your presence and be able to tune into this episode. Hey, if we have not had the chance to meet, my name is Devon Williamson, and I know we have an amazing podcast in store for you. But before we jump into today's guest and having that conversation, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. If this podcast has helped you, shaped you, encouraged you, motivated you, ignited your faith, I would ask that you hit the like button, and if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button so you are aware, and hit that notification bell at the same time, so you are aware when new episodes are released every single Monday. And hey, if you want to become a financial partner of this ministry, you can follow the link below. It'll take you to our website, and you can give that way to be able to help us take these messages and these stories of faith around the world to the people that need them, so they can experience freedom in Christ, that their faith can be ignited, and they can believe God for whatever it is that they're needing in life. And then lastly, hey, if something's going on in your life, we would love to know about it. You can go ahead and drop a comment below. You can reach out to us on social media, send us an email, write us a letter if that's your kind of thing. But we would love to know about it, and so we can celebrate what God's doing in your life. And so I ask that you do those things because it helps us tremendously to be able to take this mission and this vision of Faith Ignite to the people that need it most. And so, like I said, we're going to have a great time today on this episode. We have a really important guest with us, a really cool guest, and he has an amazing testimony. And I told him intentionally not to tell me beforehand, so I'm hearing it just like you guys are hearing it for the first time. But our guest, he's big into discipleship, helping people win in life and be able to find their purpose. That's what he's built and dedicated his entire life to doing. Originally from Indiana, moved to Tulsa about 20 years ago. Him and his wife to be able to teach here at a local school. But even though they're teaching, they are making an impact in the lives of so many men, women across the board, because they're helping people win in life, be able to discover their purpose, walk in power and in clarity in that. Okay, and so I'm not going to go too much details, but I'm going to let him expand. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our guest for today, Mr. Mark Delaney.
Thank you, Devon.
Man, thank you so much for sharing this hour, these free moments with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's a great conversation. I'm ready for it.
So everywhere I like to start every podcast so we get well acquainted and our audience get acquainted. Who is Mark?
You know, I think I am just a butler. I want to be Alfred.
Okay, yeah.
Batman had this butler that helped him, in my mind, with just kind of the personal side, the human side of himself. And I think every man is gifted with a calling on his life. And I like to be Alfred for men who have a big calling on their life.
Wow. So obviously, naturally, that's not the standard of every man. Every man does not have this instinct to want to serve. So where did that originate from, that desire to want to serve? Because every man is not like, oh yeah, I'm going to help serve this person. I'm going to help this person win. That's not the natural instinct of a man. So where did that come from?
Well, listen, all of us, if we're not careful, can live our whole life and never know what we're about. There's something inside of us that wants something in life. Yeah. And usually most people, we find our greed before we find our love. And greed leads us to try to get to the top of the mountain first. Yeah. And of course, there is no top of the mountain with greed. And I don't know where it came from. I think as a kid, I always liked to just help people's lives. Yeah. And as a kid, the only thing I knew how to do was make cookies. And I wasn't really good with people. I was shy. It was hard to have conversations. But people never turned down cookies. So I made cookies. That's what I did as a kid. I made cookies for people. And I think as an adult, I really struggled with how to find a place where my life could make a difference. And it was very frustrating because it created a real tension in me when I felt like my heart wanted to make a difference, but I felt like I couldn't. I didn't know how to make that happen. And I think that the greater the sense of mission a person has in their heart, the greater the burden there is when you feel like you're not living it out. And I think, quite frankly, I think for me, it showed up in the amount of food that I would eat. I was a pastor when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And honestly, I felt like I was doing something I was called to do, but I didn't feel like I was fruitful at it. And I particularly remember a guy sitting in the back row of the church. He didn't come a lot, but when he did, everyone knew he was an alcoholic. And me growing up, I was never around alcohol.
Yeah.
Never really even tasted it.
Yeah.
I was never around someone who was drunk even.
Yeah.
So being an alcoholic, I assumed it was bad, but I didn't know what it really meant. I didn't know what to say to him. So I was around 30 years old when I experienced that man. And now I look back and I realize that I was him and he was me. The difference was he chose alcohol, I chose food. And if you drink alcohol, you're sitting on the back row.
Yep.
If you numb your life with food, you can be behind the pulpit.
Yeah.
And that was me.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what he was as a man, what I was as a man, we were the same people. We were struggling with how to find our place in this world. How to live out the life that God designed for us. We were both doing that. And so for me, I don't know, I feel like the whole point of my life ever was to be of service to other people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't till I was about 47, 48 that I really kind of figured out kind of what that could look like.
Yeah. So you said something interesting, and if you want to, I want you to expand on what that looks like, because I'm pretty sure you're not the only person that has dealt with this when it comes to body image, especially in today's world where everything is Insta story, Instagram, everything is instant, and people look at you and they have a certain perception of how you should look to be the right character. And so for that person who's watching where they are dealing with something, but they probably think that they're the only one, speak to that, what that looks like as far as like you being in that, like having that hold, or food having that hold on you, not having the power to break free. And ultimately, how did you get out?
Listen, since the beginning of time, human beings have been struggling with what they look like in the eyes of other people. It's the fear of people. It's the fear of our own self. It's the inability to be bold and free in who I am as a person. Yeah. I mean, it began at the very beginning with Adam and Eve. They were naked and unashamed. Yeah. But as soon as the fall happened, they lost who they were with God. They lost who they were with each other. And it's like the image of them running to the bushes, and even being behind the bushes wasn't good enough. They had to put on fig leaves. It's like, it's not enough that you can't see me. I can still see me. Listen, I think every human being has this wrestling match with their body. I don't think there's any escaping that. And it looks, because even when I go to the gym, I used to never go to the gym. Yeah. And my body showed it. Yeah. I used to, and then when I started to go to the gym, I'd look around and I was like, man, how come there's all these skinny people in here? Like, I should be here. Yeah. I'd look over these guys and be like, you can go home and eat chips. You deserve it. You can go home and have donuts. You've done it. Look at your body. Me, I should be here. Yeah. But it was interesting. I came across this friend at the gym, and we were just gym friends, but we hit it off. And we just, for some reason, had really honest conversations with each other. And although his body, he looked like He-Man. He looked like Superman. But his life was a disaster. And we had an interesting dialogue. One time he said to me, he said, Mark, the way you look, why would anyone listen to you? And he wasn't being mean. He was just being very open and honest, which I really appreciated. probably a month later, we were at the gym working out, and I said to him, I feel like my spirit looks like your body, but I feel like your spirit looks like my body. And I was even more overweight at that point.
Yeah.
In that conversation. Ultimately, I think since the beginning of time, and it always will be the case, that human beings, if we're not careful, we will spend our entire life building an image instead of living a substance.
That's good.
And it's the threat of all of us. Whether you're really thin, really tall, it doesn't matter how perfect your body becomes. The threat of your body being your identity is, a matter of fact, it's probably more difficult to live the life God designed for you with six-pack abs than it is to have 20 extra pounds. Because when you carry excess, you can't help but at some point to realize, you know what? God's just going to have to use what I've got here. I'm doing the best I can, but I guess God's going to have to work through my weakness. People that seem to have perfected their body, it's so hard for pride not to really settle in.
Yeah. So, and one thing that I've learned over the course of time, and I didn't come upon this by myself. I had a mentor that shaped and helped me to understand this. But when it comes to pride and comparison, those two things kill. Like the Bible talks about it it talks about it with the story with Satan. He had a thought, said, I shall ascend and be like God. He's trying to compare himself to the Son of God. He was created. God wasn't. He was trying to compare himself with this, like he was the Son of God. And the moment he said that, the repercussion of that was he tried to take over. He wanted to be just like Christ. I wanted to ascend and be like God. He was comparing himself to that, but he was not created to be in that lane. And I've been taught from my mentor, when you compare, it's like you're on a racetrack, or you're on a track running track and field. And the minute you start comparing, you start looking to the left and you start looking to the right. And therefore, if you come out of your lane at any point during that race, you're considered disqualified.
Yeah.
But when you're looking to the left and looking to the right, you're not focused on your lane, and that's how people get off their path in life.
Yeah.
Because they start comparing, like, oh, this person's making $1 million and they're doing crypto. Well, I'm just doing banking. Maybe I should go into crypto, because you want what they got. Yeah. But that's not what you're gifted to do. You're not called to do it, because now at that point you're trying to get on their path.
Yeah.
They have the right shoes, they have the right gear, the right attire to run that race. You don't.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and to see like how you're talking about, like people have used this image of themselves to compare, and that just ultimately fuels destruction in the end. You can work as hard as you want at it, but it's not going to work, because that's not you're not graced to do that particular thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If I compare myself to you, two things I'm doing. Number one, I'm neglecting my gift. If I compare myself to you, I'm looking to see what's in you while avoiding the thing that's in me. I'm responsible for my gift and to give it. But if I'm comparing myself to people, I am declaring that what I have is not enough. What God's made me is not enough. So I need to. But the other thing, that when I compare myself to people, I'm not loving them. I'm neglecting the love that I should be giving to a person, because every person needs us to love them. And comparing ourselves to them, we're neglecting our love for them.
Yeah. Man. That was good. So kind of fast forward in here. So from this idea of being able to break free of this, I guess I would call it identity crisis, you've now used that as fuel to now start what you and your wife are called, I forgot what you termed it, but I guess purpose drivers, I think it was called.
Purpose dealers.
Purpose dealers, that's what it was, purpose dealers. And so we have quite a few books here, and he talks about, so this one's here is called The One Step to Freedom, leaving the habit you hate to live the life you love. And there's another one here says, In the Game, a playbook for overcoming setbacks, rebuilding confidence, and living with purpose. hence the Purpose Dealers. So kind of share with me where these books came from, and we'll link these in the description below, so if you want to, you can order these, get yourself a copy, because I highly recommend it. But kind of talk to me, where did these actually come from?
The One Step to Freedom came first a couple of years ago. My whole life, I was a good guy, but I was doing life from inside of a prison cell. How I thought about myself, the way I saw myself, I really only saw my problem. And so I was basically in that prison cell. On the back of that book about freedom, you see a person in a prison cell with a big box.
Yep.
And that big box represents the problem. Most of my life, I'm in that prison cell thinking, if I ever get this problem out of here, then I can really be the person I was made to be. Yeah. Then I can really be proud of who I am. Then I can really give the gift of who I am. Then God will really use me.
Yeah.
And so I lived in that prison cell. And what I really needed was not my problem to be fixed. I needed to find freedom. Because with freedom was this massive revelation, which is I don't need to fix my problem. I need to leave the prison cell I've created around the problem. And most of my life, I could feel the invisible prison, because when you have a problem, it becomes your identity. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide it. The more you try to hide it, the more it's imprinted on your being. It just becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And in trying to hide it, it consumes your thinking more and more, because you have to actively hide it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it's the next hiding. Everywhere you go, you're thinking, I'm going to this gathering. Who's going to notice my problem? Now I'm going to go here. Who's going to see my problem?
Yeah.
And so everywhere we go, instead of thinking about our gift, our purpose, our calling, everywhere we go, we're thinking about who's going to see my problem. So we're actively trying to hide our problem rather than actively trying to live out our gift.
Yeah.
And I was like that for so many years. And it just feels so moral that I must fix my problem. I must stop this behavior. And it seems so right. But that just makes the problem bigger and bigger and bigger. And I do a presentation inside of this cage, and I act out this, what it felt like for me. I felt like in that prison, the devil was a dealer of oatmeal cream pies. And so when my frustration of I'm so frustrated that I can't get out of here, the devil would say, oh, just calm down here. These will make you feel better. So he'll deal me oatmeal cream pies at night, make myself feel better, and the next day I'll lose weight. And then the next morning that I wake up and the devil says, hey, I got something for you. It's a diet book. It's helped 20,000, 100,000 people, 1 million people.
Yeah.
Because that's such a deception for my cellmate, the devil, to be like, here, you just need this diet book. Yes, that is what I need, because I need to lose weight. And you try to lose weight, and inside that prison cell, it's hard to exercise.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose weight inside that prison cell. So by 4 o'clock, you're frustrated. It's time for some more oatmeal cream pies. And that day is lived over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect deception for the devil to say you need a diet book. Because you don't need your problem to go away. The realization I had in my life was that the whole time, if I were to just ask Jesus, in my mind, it's like he was outside the prison cell waiting for me to turn to him with this problem. And he didn't offer a diet book. He just let me know the door wasn't locked. It's not locked. And it's like, oh, like I can just walk away from this prison cell? Yes. Because I created the prison bars. And I think we all do this with our lives. We all decide that our problem is worthy of our imprisonment. We all believe that our problem is so ugly, it's so different, it's so weird, It's so ungodly that we deserve to be in a prison because of it.
Yeah.
And we hold hostage the gift of our life. But when I finally just surrendered as a man, what I sensed in my heart was Jesus saying the door's not locked. And I left that big box in the prison cell and I walked out.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, so I can go do everything God's called me to do in this world?
Yeah.
Even while the problem is still being worked on? Yes.
Wow.
So I learned that God's strength is made perfect in my weakness.
Yep.
But it's not the weakness I hide, it's the weakness I face.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think for most people, what keeps us locked in the prison is the hiding of a problem. It's not having a problem that imprisons us. Yeah. It's hiding the problem. So that book, One Step to Freedom, is all about leaving the prison of how we think about our problems, so we can live our best bold life.
Wow. You know, I think about when you're saying that, I thought about the story of Adam in the garden. The minute he sinned, what did he do? The first thing he did was he went and he hid.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like, why did Adam hide? Why not go to God? Like, I'm sorry, I did the thing that you told me not to do. But his first instinct is to hide. And if you replay that generation after generation after generation, that's usually what men do. They usually tend to hide their problems to make it seem like, oh, man, I'm not, like, I have to make sure that I look strong for other people.
Yep.
If I got a problem, you know what, I'm going to tuck that down. Nobody's going to know. I have to be strong for my family. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to present myself in such a way where I can be able to shoulder the responsibility of whatever is coming. And my problems can wait. But obviously, at some point, you keep doing that long enough, that problem is going to erupt. At some point, you're going to be in a worse position because you never dealt with it.
Yeah.
And to whoever that is, that person that's listening, that man that's listening, it doesn't demasculate you to realize that, hey, you have a problem. But the thing is, if you could have fixed yourself, you would have done it by now. The fact that you can't fix yourself tells me that you need someone to fix you. And therefore, that's why Jesus came. Yeah. He came to fix us so we don't have to try and be perfect. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. We all fall short of his glory. And that's why we were in need of a savior. The Bible talks, he came to save the sick. He didn't come here to save those. He didn't come to those that are healthy. He came to those that are dying and those that are sick to save them and to heal them. Yeah. And that's why we realize we need Christ. We can't do this on our own. If we didn't, we would have done it by now.
I think most men, and it was certainly true of me, is I didn't know what to do with my weakness. And I think most of us, let's relate our lives to Superman, who has kryptonite, that weakens him. I think most of us find our kryptonite before we find our calling. And because of that, the kryptonite, whatever it is, the temptation, the weakness, the threat, that thing hits us. And it makes us just go, oh no, this has happened. This is what I am. This is my identity. Yeah. And then we think, until this is gone, I can't be the man. I can't be the Superman. Yeah. I can't be the man of God until I've eliminated this threat. Yeah. Well, with that kind of thinking, like you'll never put your cape on. Right. And so I tell men all the time, like, when you have weakness or temptation as a man, you can, if you want, say, well, I'm a loser. I can't be used of God. Or you can, every time there's a threat come along, you can say, that's kryptonite. That reminds me that I'm Superman. Yeah. I better go put on my cape and chase my purpose. This is why I'm so emphatic about purpose. Yeah. Because if you don't have I think we all have to have a purpose that's bigger than our problems. Otherwise, our problems just consume our lives. They consume our focus. But if there's a bigger purpose than our problems, then we're continually reminded that I've got something big to live for. And yes, I have kryptonite. And we got to be honest about it. You can't hide kryptonite. So to me, that's the balance. Like, everyone has weakness.
Yeah.
Everyone's tempted by things. Whether it's donuts or gambling, it doesn't really matter what it is. When we see our weakness, we must be reminded of our calling, and choose to love people more than we hate our weakness.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we think, if I hate myself enough with my weakness, it's going to make it go away. Yeah. I think the better move is to live in the Spirit, which is about love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, all reflected toward people. And the more that we pursue purpose toward people for God's glory, you might just find that you're walking away from your problem at the same time.
You know what I thought of when you were giving that Superman example? Like, I thought about what it would look like to, as a man, knowing that this is a phone, knowing that with this phone, right before, let's say this is kryptonite, I take this phone, I put it in my pocket, and now there's some kind of event that needs my attention as Superman. I have to go save this woman. Mm-hmm. But I put this phone in my pocket. I am deceiving myself. I'm setting myself up for failure, because I know this is the thing that's going to weaken my power, but I assume it's not there. I put it out of sight, out of mind. I put it in my pocket, and I think it's not there. And I go and I try to fight whatever crime that is there. The minute I go and I face someone, I'm in for a rude awakening, because I never realized, or I never admitted that the kryptonite, I'm holding a kryptonite. I choose to shield it. I choose to ignore that it's even there. Yep. And I go and I try and do life as normal, pretending like I have the same power that I did when I really don't, because I have the kryptonite. And this is the importance of, and my mentors taught us a lot, there's a thing about communicating and men just being open to communicate what it is that they're doing and stop trying to hide things.
Yes.
And I understand when you communicate, whether it starts with your relationship with God, starts with your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, your kids, like there's a responsibility as a man that you have to communicate, because there's something that a man can pass down to their children. There's that affirmation that comes. But if the man doesn't communicate, if the man doesn't speak, it never gets passed down. And Satan has done a good job when it comes to silencing the men. And I think it shows up in the family. Like, the parents aren't, the men aren't there in their homes because they've not been taught what it's like for a man to love another man, for a father to love a son. And so now they have to try and find this validation somewhere else. And so to the person that's listening to the other end of this podcast, and we can wrap up on this, what would you tell them, that younger version of yourself, or to that person that's watching this podcast? What would you tell them so that they don't have to go through the same thing? They don't have to sit in the same prison cell that you sat in. They don't have to sit there and try to figure out how to get out of this, but simply just walk out.
Yeah. The book In the Game, the premise of the book is that a lot of boys grow up and they play on a team. Mm-hmm. They're playing a sport, which means they have this great adventure. They've got teammates, and they've got coaches and mentors in their life.
Yeah.
And then you become a man, and the game is over. The teammates are gone, and the coaches are gone, and you're just on your own. I would say to any man, you can't do life on your own. Life's a team sport. Find good teammates. Find teammates that you can share your struggles with, but at the same time, find teammates that invite you into the mission of your life. And I'll say this to any person, because every person has kryptonite. The mission of your life is not to eliminate your kryptonite. The mission of your life is to be honest about your kryptonite while you fully pursue God's purpose and calling for your life. It's such an easy trap. It's almost a self-righteousness.
Yeah.
To think, well, I'm going to fix my problem. You know what's better than fixing your problem? Loving your neighbor. Because you might just find that the more you love your neighbor, which love your neighbor means use your life for the benefit of the people around you.
Yeah.
It's amazing how doing that will cause you to be to walk away from your problem. But it is so easy to get stuck in the trap that I'm a man, I'm going to fix myself.
Yeah.
It's better to love your neighbor than try to fix yourself.
Wow. Mark Delaney, ladies and gentlemen. I highly recommend, as Mark was talking about these different books here, I highly recommend that you go and order these. They can find these online, correct?
Yep, on Amazon.
Okay. Well, and we will put the links in the description so you guys can get a copy of this. But for those people that are dealing with that idea of feeling they're trapped and they feel like they can't get out, hey, this book, Mark has been able to be a living witness to what that exactly looks like. And so get the book, read the book, see what it's like, see what the revelation is in this book, so you can be able to walk free and out of that prison cell, not have to sit there for years and years and years and realize, hey, I'm 16, I'm still dealing with the same thing. And so, man, Mark, thank you so much for sharing with us, for what you've been through and to see how you've walked out of it. But to see it all started up here. It was all a mentality shift. And once you understood the revelation behind the fact that you can't fix yourself, that you needed to turn to Christ, who was standing there all along, that's when things started changing for you.
Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to wrap this episode up. But before we do, like I said in the beginning, hey, if this podcast has helped you, shaped you, encouraged you, motivated you, ignited your faith, helped you in any way, hey, I would love for you to go ahead and hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so you are aware when new episodes are released. Secondly, if you want to become a financial partner and help us continue to do this work that God has started through this ministry, you can click the link below. It'll take you to our website and you can become a financial partner with this ministry to help us share these stories of faith around the world to the people that need them. And then lastly, if something's going on in your life, we would love to know. We would love to celebrate what God's doing, the victories that he's been able to bless you with. And so we would love for you to drop a comment below. You can find us on social media, send us an email, write us a letter, whatever you like to do. But just let us know, and we would love to celebrate with you with God's doing in your life. And so, like I said, we're going to wrap this episode up. But until next time, this has been Faith Ignite. God bless you.